Let's predict the formula for sodium and chlorine. We have the sodium cation, and what it's going to do is going to lose an electron, getting a positive charge, Na+. Now the chlorine ion, the anion, will gain that electron, giving it a negative charge. We have one sodium, one chlorine, therefore our formula is NaCl, and we say that as sodium chloride. Calcium and oxygen. So we have calcium as a cation, oxygen as the anion. Now calcium has a charge of 2+ because it lost 2 electrons. Now those 2 electrons are going to be gained by the oxygen anion, which is negatively charged. We have one calcium, we have one oxygen, giving us a chemical formula of CaO, calcium oxide. Magnesium and chlorine. Magnesium cation will lose its 2 electrons. Now, the chlorine anion will gain one of the electrons, but where does the other electron go? Well, we have another chlorine anion which will gain that electron. We have one magnesium, we have 2 chlorines, giving us a formula of MgCl2, magnesium chloride. Potassium and oxygen. So let's start with the oxygen anion. It has a charge of -2, which is a larger magnitude than the charge of +1 for potassium. So we're going to start with that. It's going to gain 2 electrons, like so. And potassium cation will lose an electron, but another potassium cation will lose its electron also. So we have 2 potassiums, we have 1 oxygen, giving us a formula of K2O, potassium oxide. Lithium and phosphorus. So we're going to start with the phosphorus anion with a charge of -3, which is greater magnitude than the charge of +1 for lithium. The phosphorus anion will gain 3 electrons. Each of the 3 electrons is going to come from a lithium cation. Each lithium cation loses 1 electron. We have 3 lithiums, we have 1 phosphorus, giving us a formula of Li3P, lithium phosphide. Gallium and fluorine. We'll start with gallium, which has the higher magnitude of charge with +3. Fluorine only has -1. Gallium is going to lose 3 electrons. Now each of those electrons will be gained by a fluorine anion. So at the end we have 1 gallium, we have 3 fluorines with a formula of GaF3, gallium fluoride. Aluminum plus oxygen. This is a more difficult one. We'll start with aluminum because it has a higher magnitude of charge with +3. It's going to lose 3 electrons. Now the oxygen, the anion, is going to gain 2 of those. So where does that third one go? Well, that is gained by a different oxygen atom. But the oxygen, remember, it gains 2. So oxygen is going to gain another one. Now where does that other one come from? Well, there must be another aluminum cation which is losing electrons. But the aluminum loses 3. So where do those other 2 electrons go? Well, there's one final oxygen anion that can gain those last 2 electrons. Therefore, overall we have 2 aluminums, we have 3 oxygens for a formula of Al2O3.